The red sky still burned over Earth, casting an eerie glow across every city. Panic had spread further. Some people refused to leave their homes, terrified of what the red light meant. Others rushed to evacuation points, convinced that an alien invasion had begun. But Commander Riley did not panic. He had a plan. A small, secret one, but it was the only chance humanity had. In the secret lab beneath Terran Defense Command, Dr. Elena Voss stared at the monitors, her fingers flying across the holographic keyboards. The alien signals they had detected yesterday were now repeating in patterns. Unlike anything human-made, these pulses seemed almost alive. They were not random bursts of energy, they were a message. "Commander," Elena called, "I've never seen anything like this. The signals, they're not just coming from one source. There are multiple frequencies, multiple layers. Whoever sent this, they're smart. They know we can detect it, but they don't want us to understand everything yet." Riley leaned over her shoulder, studying the lines of pulsing light. His face was tense. "Can we decode it?" he asked. Elena shook her head. "Partially. Some sections are clear, they contain coordinates. Others, it's like a language we've never seen." Riley's jaw tightened. "Coordinates for what?" "We don't know. Possibly where the fleet originated, or where it's headed. The strange part is the urgency. It's like a warning and a plea," Elena said. Riley frowned. "A warning. A plea. That could mean only one thing. The aliens sending this signal were desperate. Desperation could lead to anything: help, surrender, or attack. He didn't know which. Meanwhile, in orbit, Earth's satellites recorded subtle movements from the approaching fleet. The ships moved in formation, almost gliding through space. They were studying Earth, calculating, observing every human reaction below. On the surface, news outlets tried to make sense of the events. People debated theories: massive solar storms, top-secret military experiments gone wrong, even supernatural explanations. But Riley ignored the noise. He had no time for debate. "Lieutenant Harris," he said, speaking into his communicator, "assemble the tactical team. I want a detailed analysis of these signals. Every anomaly, every pulse, every variation. We need to understand what they want before they make the first move." "Yes, Commander," Harris replied, urgency in his voice. Deep inside a secure facility, a young engineer named Alex joined the team. Alex was brilliant, young, and fearless. He immediately noticed something the others had missed. "These signals, they're layered," he said, pointing at the display. "Each layer contains hidden timing codes. Whoever sent this, they're predicting our moves. They know how humans think." Riley raised an eyebrow. "Predicting our moves?" "Yes," Alex said. "Every time we try to decode a part, the signal shifts slightly. They're testing us, learning us." The room fell silent. The alien intelligence was more advanced than anyone had imagined. It was not just a fleet of ships, it was a thinking, calculating force. And it had noticed Earth. Hours passed. The signals grew stronger. Elena and Alex worked tirelessly, cross-checking each pattern, each pulse. Slowly a pattern emerged, a hidden warning. If humanity did not act, the fleet approaching would not just observe, they would strike. Entire cities could be destroyed in minutes. Riley's eyes hardened. "We can't wait for them to attack. We need to prepare a defense. But we can't show weakness either. They're watching every move. If they see panic, they'll know they have the advantage." Outside, civilians still stared at the crimson sky. Some prayed. Some screamed. Some tried to leave, only to find transportation systems jammed by mysterious electromagnetic surges, side effects of the alien fleet's presence. Riley knew this was a test. The aliens wanted to see how humans would react. Would they crumble? Or would they fight back? "Commander," Harris said, interrupting his thoughts, "we're getting a visual on one of the lead ships. Enormous, far bigger than any human battleship. And it's moving closer." Riley nodded. "Good. Keep monitoring but do not engage. Not yet. We need information more than we need a fight right now." Meanwhile, Alex discovered a subtle repetition in the signal, a series of codes embedded deep within the energy bursts. "This part," he said, pointing, "it's not random. It's coordinates to a location in the asteroid belt. Something is hidden there. Something they want us to find." Riley's pulse quickened. "Then that's where we go next. Assemble a reconnaissance team. We're taking a small ship. Quiet. No alarms. And we find out what they left for us." Elena hesitated. "Commander, it could be a trap." Riley's eyes were steel. "We have no choice. If we wait, they will decide our fate." This is humanity's first step toward survival. As the night deepened, the red sky over Earth glowed brighter than ever. The alien fleet remained at the edge of the solar system, silent, watching, waiting. But on the ground, a small group of humans prepared to defy the impossible. They did not know what awaited them in the asteroid belt. They did not know if the signal was a warning, a test, or a trap. But they knew one thing: Earth could not go down quietly. Not while Commander Riley, Alex, and their team still had a chance to fight. And somewhere beyond the solar system, the alien fleet continued its silent approach, unaware that humanity had begun its first move. The unexpected war had begun. The crimson sky still stretched over Earth, but now it felt heavier, as if the planet itself was under a watchful gaze. Panic had become routine for the world below. Cities flickered with intermittent power, and emergency broadcasts warned people to stay indoors. But Commander Riley and his team were no longer thinking about survival, they were thinking about retaliation. "Commander," Elena said urgently, "we've traced the signals to multiple hidden locations in the asteroid belt. Whoever sent them, they left something behind. Something we can use, or something deadly." Riley leaned forward, eyes sharp. "And you're sure these coordinates are not traps?" Elena hesitated. I can't be certain. But the pattern suggests intention. It's as if they want us to find them. They're leaving clues. Or challenges." Riley's jaw tightened. "Then we find them. Quietly. We take nothing for granted. Humanity's survival depends on understanding what they want." Young engineer Alex had been analyzing the signals with a keen eye. "Commander, it's more than just coordinates," he said. "There's a rhythm in the energy pulses, almost like instructions. Some parts seem to describe construction. Or technology. If we follow the signal carefully, it could show us how to fight the fleet." Riley nodded. "Good. Assemble a reconnaissance ship. Take the top team. We go now. Quietly. No alarms." While Riley prepared the team, Earth's chaos escalated. Riots broke out in several cities as panic reached its peak. People screamed about the red sky, reporting strange phenomena: lights in the streets, objects moving without explanation, and electronic devices malfunctioning. Governments struggled to maintain control. But Riley's focus was unshakable. Humanity had faced worse before. The question was whether they could face this. The reconnaissance team launched in a small, stealth-capable ship. Riley piloted it personally. Alex monitored the signals, guiding them to the first coordinate in the asteroid belt. Hours passed as they navigated through the dark void of space. Every meter felt tense. Every blip on the radar could be a trap. Finally, they reached a small metallic structure floating on an asteroid. It hummed with alien energy, pulsing in sync with the signals they had decoded. This is incredible," Alex whispered. "It's a device designed to amplify energy. Look at the readings, it could disrupt the fleet's shield patterns. If we learn to use it." Riley studied it carefully. "It's dangerous. It could also destroy us if we miscalculate. But we don't have a choice. This is our edge." As they studied the device, the red sky above Earth flared brighter than ever. The alien fleet had noticed movement in the asteroid belt. Small scout ships began approaching, sensing interference. The humans had minutes, maybe less, to act. Riley made a decision. "We're taking this device back to Earth. It's risky, but it's the only way we can prepare a counter-strategy. Alex, start the stabilization sequence. Elena, keep monitoring the fleet. Harris, prepare defensive maneuvers if they detect us." The return journey was tense. Scout ships closed in, firing energy pulses that forced the human ship to dodge and weave through the darkness of space. Every hit that grazed the hull made the crew's hearts pound. But humanity's ingenuity, quick thinking, and teamwork kept them alive. By the time they re-entered Earth's orbit, the device had been stabilized. It pulsed with alien energy, a glowing heart of power humanity barely understood. Riley knew that this small advantage could change everything. Back on the ground, the red sky over Earth continued to flare, and reports of strange alien phenomena persisted. Yet humanity had taken a step forward. They now had knowledge. They had a tool. And most importantly, they had hope. Riley gathered his top officers in the command center. "We've discovered something critical," he said, placing a holographic projection of the alien device on the table. "The fleet is not here just to observe or intimidate. They're testing us. They want to see how we react, what we learn. And they're preparing something that could destroy major cities if we don't act." Elena studied the hologram. "Commander, if we can reverse engineer this device, we could create a countermeasure. It might even allow us to disrupt the fleet's shields temporarily." Riley's eyes burned with determination. Then that's what we do. Humanity fights with every tool we have. Every ounce of intelligence, every spark of courage. We don't just survive, we strike back. Outside, the red sky flared once again, a reminder that the alien fleet was always watching. But inside Terran Defense Command, a small spark of defiance had begun. Humans had uncovered secrets beneath the red sky, and with those secrets they could turn fear into strength. The first step toward humanity's counterattack had been taken. But the fleet's intentions remained unknown, and the war was far from over. Every red flare, every pulse of alien energy, reminded Riley and his team of the stakes. This was no longer just observation. This was preparation for a war. A war that humanity had no choice but to fight, and one that they were beginning to understand. And somewhere beyond the solar system the alien fleet shifted. It had noticed the humans' discovery and it would not ignore it. The game had changed. Humanity had begun to fight back. The red sky was no longer just a warning, it was the battlefield. The red sky over Earth had become a constant, terrifying presence. Every city bathed in crimson light, every human heart beating faster with fear. Panic had turned into chaos, but on Terran Defense Command, Commander Riley's focus never wavered. He knew that fear was the fleet's weapon, but humanity had another: cleverness. "Commander, we've picked up multiple vessels entering orbit," Lieutenant Harris reported, tension in his voice. "They're smaller than the lead ships but fast, extremely fast. They're scanning Earth's defenses." Riley's jaw tightened. "Prepare the fleet. We engage but carefully. Observe their tactics, learn their weaknesses. We cannot afford unnecessary losses." For the first time humans would confront the alien threat directly. The fleet's smaller ships, scout vessels, moved with precision, circling Earth like predators. They emitted energy pulses that disrupted communication systems and short-circuited minor defense installations. Cities below shook with the impact of invisible waves. People screamed and fled, thinking the world itself was collapsing. From the orbital command station, Riley watched the first engagement unfold. Human ships, small but agile, raced toward the alien scouts. Their weapons fired, releasing bursts of plasma that lit the darkness of space. The alien vessels responded instantly, shields glowing, deflecting attacks with ease. "They're stronger than we expected," Harris said, voice low. "Our weapons barely scratched them." Riley didn't flinch. "Then we adapt. Fire patterns must be unpredictable. Use decoys. We'll outsmart them." On board one human frigate, young engineer Alex monitored the alien ship's responses. "Commander, they're learning from our attacks. Every time we fire the same way they anticipate it. But if we change, even slightly, their shields weaken momentarily." Riley nodded. "Then we change constantly. No predictable patterns. Keep them off balance." The battle escalated. Explosions lit space like fireworks, though no human ever celebrated them. Every victory was small, every loss a painful reminder of their fragility. The alien scouts were intelligent, calculating. But humanity's ingenuity began to show. One human ship tricked a scout into colliding with another, causing a chain reaction that destroyed both vessels. Cheers erupted among Riley's crew, though tension remained high, they knew more were coming. Meanwhile, the crimson sky on Earth continued to flare. The fleet's presence wasn't just in space, it affected the planet itself. Lightning storms struck in unusual patterns, electronic devices went haywire, and whispers of strange phenomena spread across the globe. People began calling it the Red Fury. Fear and awe combined, fueling panic. But Riley did not allow panic to reach his team. "Focus," he shouted over the comms. "Remember, we survive by thinking, not by screaming." Hours passed. Each engagement taught humans something new about the scouts. They realized that the alien ships relied on precise energy pulses to maintain shields. Interfering with those pulses, even briefly, could leave a ship vulnerable. Riley decided to test this. "Alex, amplify the decoy signals. Harris, bring all fighters into formation. We hit them where they least expect it." The plan was risky. If it failed, half the fleet could be lost. But humanity had no choice. The first decisive strike began. Human ships fired feints, creating false targets. Scouts moved to intercept, but the decoys overloaded their energy systems. Then, in the brief moment of vulnerability, the human fleet struck the lead scout. It faltered, shields flickering, before exploding in a silent, brilliant flash against the red sky. Below, people glimpsed the light and thought it was a comet or meteor, but Riley knew better. Humanity had scored its first victory. Yet, as the humans celebrated quietly in orbit, a new signal arrived. The alien fleet's larger vessels, still beyond the solar system, shifted formation. It was a warning, a message that the scouts' destruction had been noted. The crimson sky over Earth flared even brighter, as if the planet itself was responding to the fleet's anger. Riley clenched his fists. They're angry, but they're also watching. Every move we make, they learn. We can't relax, not for a second. Elena approached him from the lab's control room. Commander, the signals indicate reinforcements. The larger ships are preparing to send something closer. Maybe even landing parties. Riley's face hardened. Then we prepare. This is just the beginning. If they think they can scare us into submission, they're wrong. Humanity fights back, even against impossible odds. From Earth's surface, people looked up at the glowing red sky, unaware that a war was unfolding above them. Small victories in space had already begun to shift the tide. Fear still gripped the planet, but somewhere in orbit humans had shown they could fight. The first clash had ended. Humanity had survived. Humanity had learned. And above all, humanity had sent a message to the alien fleet. Earth was not defenseless. But the war was far from over. The crimson sky burned as a warning, a reminder, and a challenge. The alien fleet had observed the first human defiance, and they were not pleased. The stage was set for the next phase of the conflict. The red sky over Earth had become a symbol of fear, but beneath it, humanity was preparing its first real strike. Commander Riley stood in Terran Defense Command, flanked by Elena, Alex, and Lieutenant Harris. The alien device they had recovered pulsed with energy, filling the room with a faint hum that seemed almost alive. "This is it," Riley said, his voice steady but filled with determination. "Everything we've learned, everything we've discovered, it all leads to this moment. The fleet believes we are weak. They think fear controls us. They are about to learn, they were wrong." Elena checked the device one last time. "If we amplify the signals correctly, we could disrupt their shields for a short window. Just enough for our fleet to strike with maximum impact." Riley nodded. "Then we have one shot. Everyone knows their role. Timing will be everything." Outside, the red sky flared brighter than ever. Across the planet, civilians watched, oblivious to the battle that was about to unfold above them. Some prayed, some panicked, some ran, but none understood that humanity's survival was hanging by a thread. In orbit, Riley's fleet prepared to engage the alien scouts again. Small ships moved in precise formations, taking advantage of every maneuver they had learned from prior encounters. The alien scouts noticed immediately, reacting with calculated energy pulses. Their shields glowed, strong and unyielding, but the humans had a plan. "Activate the device," Riley ordered. The alien technology hummed, sending waves of energy toward the scouts. For a brief moment, the shields flickered, cracks appearing where none had existed before. It was just enough. "Fire!" Riley shouted. Human ships unleashed volleys of plasma, torpedoes, and energy bursts. The first scout was hit directly, shield failing under the amplified assault. It exploded silently against the red sky, sending debris scattering through orbit. The remaining scouts faltered, their coordination disrupted. Alex monitored their reactions. They're trying to adapt. But the device, it's keeping them off balance. Riley smiled grimly. "Then we press the attack." No hesitation. The battle raged across the sky. Smaller ships darted and twisted, taking advantage of every opening. Explosions lit the darkness of space, a dance of fire against the crimson backdrop of Earth. For every loss, humanity struck back harder, more cleverly. The alien scouts had underestimated them, and that mistake would cost dearly. Below, Earth's population caught glimpses of the fight through telescopes, broadcasts, and even smartphones. No one fully understood what was happening, but some felt hope, a spark that perhaps humanity was not as powerless as the alien fleet had believed. Hours passed. Riley's fleet began to notice movement from the larger alien ships, the true heart of the invading force. They had been observing, waiting for the right moment to intervene. Riley knew the next phase would be more dangerous, but humanity had learned. They had adapted. They were clever. "Prepare the main strike," Riley ordered. "We will not let fear control us. We will show them what humanity can do." Using the alien device, they launched coordinated volleys against the approaching fleet, targeting energy nodes and weak points discovered through careful study. The larger vessels wavered, shields flickering, their formation breaking for the first time. It was a moment of triumph, small but significant. Riley's eyes scanned the battlefield. He could feel the tension, the pulse of the red sky, and the silent gaze of the alien fleet. This was no longer just survival, it was defiance. Humanity had turned the tide, if only slightly, and they had done it through courage, intelligence, and unity. As the alien scouts retreated to regroup, the red sky began to fade. The crimson glow slowly dimmed, replaced by the familiar blue of Earth's atmosphere. People below looked up in awe, relieved but still uncertain of what had just happened. Riley allowed himself a moment to breathe. "This is far from over," he said quietly to no one in particular. "But we've survived the first wave. And we've learned something critical. The galaxy underestimates humans at their own risk." Elena placed a hand on his shoulder. "Commander, we did it." Humanity held its ground. Riley looked out at the horizon, red fading to night. "We did more than hold ground. We sent a message. We are not weak. We adapt. We fight. And we will continue to do so, no matter what comes next." In the distance beyond the solar system, the alien fleet paused. They had observed, calculated, and underestimated humans. Now their strategies had been disrupted, their scouts defeated. But they were patient, intelligent, and powerful. They would return. Yet for Earth, for humanity, this first victory was monumental. Against impossible odds, they had fought back. The crimson sky over the planet was no longer just a symbol of fear. It was a testament to resilience, to cleverness, and to the unyielding spirit of humanity. Commander Riley turned to his team. "Prepare for the next phase. We will not wait for them to strike again. We will take the fight to them when the time comes." And as the last remnants of the red sky faded from Earth, a silent promise echoed across the planet. Humanity had survived the unexpected war, and it would never bow to fear again. The red sky over Earth had grown darker, almost like molten blood poured across the horizon. Panic was no longer limited to a few cities, it had spread across continents. Streets were filled with screaming people, abandoned cars, and shattered windows as fear gripped the planet. Governments struggled to maintain control, issuing orders and curfews, but chaos was impossible to stop. Commander Riley watched the chaos from the command center. He had anticipated fear, but this was worse than he imagined. Cities flickered with power failures as the alien fleet's electromagnetic influence disrupted electrical grids. Communication networks went down in some regions, while in others, faint energy pulses scrambled satellite signals. It was subtle, but the humans who understood technology could feel it. The aliens were not just approaching, they were testing the planet. "Commander," Lieutenant Harris said, pointing at a monitor, "we're getting reports of unusual tremors across several cities. Buildings shaking, sensors detecting localized energy surges. Some say objects are floating for brief moments before falling." Riley's eyes narrowed. "The fleet isn't here physically. It's manipulating energy remotely. They're probing us, seeing how we react to uncontrolled conditions. This is more than just intimidation. They're studying Earth's defenses and humans' behavior." Meanwhile, Dr. Elena Voss and young engineer Alex continued decoding the alien signal. They had discovered more hidden layers, coordinates pointing to multiple locations in the solar system. Some were in orbit around Earth, others deeper in space. Each coordinate seemed linked to a technological device left behind by the aliens, possibly as part of a test or a trap. "We need to investigate them," Alex said urgently. "Whatever they left there could be key to understanding their plan, or stopping it." Riley nodded. "Assemble a small reconnaissance team. No alarms. We cannot risk alerting the fleet that we know about these devices. If they detect interference, they might strike immediately." While Riley prepared the team, Earth's population descended further into panic. People crowded airports, trains, and highways, desperate to leave cities they believed were doomed. Riots broke out in some regions, looters taking advantage of the chaos. News footage showed scenes of terror, the red sky casting a haunting glow over terrified faces, abandoned cars, and smoldering fires. Riley's fleet, though small, had already launched a few surveillance drones into orbit. The drones transmitted back images of the alien fleet. Massive ships hovered beyond the solar system, their metallic surfaces reflecting faint starlight. Each vessel was unlike anything humans had ever seen, smooth, almost organic, and moving in perfect harmony as though controlled by a single intelligence. "Commander," Harris said, swallowing hard, "the lead ship, it's larger than any battleship we've ever built. And it seems to be observing Earth's major cities directly." Riley's face hardened. "They want to intimidate us. They want to see fear. That's why the sky is red. They know humans respond emotionally to visual stimuli. They're counting on it." As night fell over Europe, a bright pulse of red light shot across the sky, brighter than anything before. People screamed and fell to their knees, thinking the world was ending. But Riley knew better. It was a test, a psychological one. The fleet was trying to gauge human behavior, and Earth was giving them plenty to study. "Prepare a rapid response," Riley ordered. "If they attempt a direct attack, we respond immediately. But for now, observe, record, and learn." Back at the lab, Alex discovered something startling. "Commander, the alien signal, it's adaptive. Every time we think we understand a layer, it shifts. It's learning from us like we're part of its experiment." Elena added, "There are patterns. Some of the frequencies match natural phenomena, but others are completely artificial. Whoever sent this, they're trying to manipulate the planet itself." Riley clenched his fists. "So, the red sky is just the beginning. They're probing us on every level, psychological, technological, even environmental. If we don't act carefully, this could destroy everything." Suddenly, reports came from remote regions, small towns and research stations. People claimed to see ships landing, though no human radar detected anything. Some described shadows moving unnaturally, objects floating, strange energy pulses that caused machines to malfunction. Riley knew it wasn't hallucination. The fleet was testing humans, probing for weaknesses, trying to see how they would react under pressure. "Lieutenant, we need field teams," Riley said. "Small, mobile units. Send them to investigate these anomalies. Quietly. And gather data before anyone panics completely." As the teams deployed, the alien fleet remained at the edge of the solar system. It did not attack directly, but every human move was being observed. Every reaction studied. The red sky over Earth was not just a warning, it was a cage designed to provoke fear and confusion while the observers measured how humans responded. Hours turned into days. The chaos on Earth continued to escalate. Yet, amidst the panic, Riley's small team moved with purpose. The reconnaissance drones returned with images of devices left on asteroids, small, metallic structures that hummed with energy. The signals from these devices matched the pulses in the alien message. Riley studied the images carefully. "This is it," he said, his voice low but firm. "These devices, they're the key. The fleet wants us to find them. But we have to be smart. This is a trap, we could lose everything. But if we succeed, humanity might just survive." As the crimson sky burned overhead, Riley made a decision. Humanity would not bow to fear. They would not panic endlessly beneath a blood-red sky. They would fight, adapt, and survive. Somewhere far beyond the solar system, the alien fleet continued to watch silently. They did not yet understand that Earth had begun to move. That humans, though chaotic and disorganized, were clever and resilient. And for the first time, Riley felt a flicker of hope. The war was only beginning, but humanity had already taken its first step. The red sky over Earth flared brighter than ever, signaling chaos to the world below, but also the dawn of resistance. The sky over Earth had never looked like this before. At first, it was a faint blush, barely noticeable against the evening clouds. But within minutes, the pink deepened into a burning red, stretching across every horizon. In New York, people stopped in the streets, staring up in disbelief. In Tokyo, the traffic came to a halt as drivers and pedestrians alike pointed at the sky. Panic spread like wildfire. Messages flooded social media, news outlets scrambled to report, and rumors grew faster than anyone could count. At Terran Defense Command, Commander Riley stood in the observation deck, arms crossed. He had seen strange things before, satellite anomalies, minor asteroid threats, but nothing like this. The red sky was not natural. Something was wrong. His sharp green eyes scanned the data streaming across the holographic displays. Energy readings, previously dormant, were spiking across multiple points in orbit. Satellites recorded strange electromagnetic pulses that couldn't be explained by solar storms or human activity. Commander Riley, a young scientist named Dr. Elena Voss, said, her voice trembling, "The energy signals, they're coming from outside the solar system. It's unusual. Nothing we've ever seen." Riley didn't look surprised. His instincts were already at work. "How unusual?" he asked, keeping his voice calm even though his mind raced. "These pulses, they're structured almost like a pattern. Almost like a message," Elena replied, tapping on the console. The displays flickered as the signals repeated in a strange rhythm. "It's not random. Someone, or something, is trying to communicate." Riley's brow furrowed. A message from deep space was never a casual event. It meant intelligence. And wherever intelligence came from, danger often followed. Meanwhile, on Earth's surface, governments argued. Emergency sessions were called. World leaders debated whether the red sky was a massive solar flare, a natural phenomenon, or a secret experiment gone wrong. Some ministers dismissed the panic, calling it media hysteria. Others demanded immediate investigation, but no one had answers. Riley watched the chaos on multiple screens. He felt a familiar, cold edge of fear, not for himself but for everyone below. "This is no accident. Something is coming," he muttered under his breath. He knew that warning the leaders openly might cause mass hysteria, but staying silent could be even worse. Back in the observation deck, Riley tapped his communicator. "Launch the probe. Scan for origin points. I want every satellite, every sensor looking for anomalies beyond the Kuiper belt." "Yes, Commander," replied Lieutenant Harris, a young officer with nervous energy. "But, sir, these readings, they're moving. Slowly. But they're coming toward us." Riley's heart skipped a beat. He had hoped it wasn't true. "Show me the trajectory," he demanded. The holographic display shifted. A fleet of objects, unlike any asteroid or comet, was approaching the solar system. Their shapes were smooth, metallic, almost organic, and their movements calculated, almost surgical. No human technology could move like this. No nation had built ships like this. "Alien ships," Harris said, barely above a whisper. Riley didn't reply immediately. He studied the fleet, noting the patterns. The ships were not attacking yet, they were observing. Calculating. Watching. The realization hit him like a hammer. The red sky was not just a warning. It was a signal, a prelude to something much bigger. He leaned back in his chair, eyes narrowing. "Prepare the defense fleet," he ordered. But quietly. "No alerts to the public yet. If this is what I think it is, we need every advantage we can get." Elena approached him, her voice low. "Commander, if these signals are a message, it's a warning. Or a plea. I'm not sure which." Riley's face hardened. "Then we'll treat it as both. We don't wait for invitations. We prepare for war." As the red light bathed the cities below, people screamed and ran. Emergency sirens blared in some towns, while in others, nothing happened yet, just an eerie silence. But above, in orbit, the unknown fleet moved closer, silent and unstoppable. 4 hours, Riley and his team monitored the ships. They analyzed every pulse, every flicker of energy. Nothing they had seen before could explain the technology or the scale of power. Even Earth's most advanced weapons would be insignificant against this force. And yet Riley felt something else, something rare. A spark of defiance. Humanity had survived countless threats before. They had risen from ashes, rebuilt, and fought back against impossible odds. This would be no different. Finally, as the Earth's red sky deepened into a dark crimson night, the fleet halted just outside the solar system. For a moment, it seemed they were waiting. Watching. Judging. Riley clenched his fists. "They're not attacking, yet. But they will," he said, more to himself than anyone else. "And when they do, the world will never be the same." The first part of humanity's struggle against the unknown had begun. The red sky was only the beginning.